Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best gaming monitor in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below. Number 8. MSI Optics MAG274QRF QD. We think that the combo of 1440p and 27 inches has been the sweet spot for affordable PC gaming for an age. Does it make sense for consoles, too? The MSI Optics MAG274QRF QD likes to think so, in part thanks to a compatibility mode that allows a 4K input from the PS5 to run at 2.5 on this 2560 by 1440 pixel panel, which means it offers a different edge in its contention for best gaming monitor. Even with that quirk aside, this MSI panel still has a lot going for it, we think. For starters, it runs at 165 Hz and packs a high-quality IPS panel with color accuracy that's well above the norm for a gaming monitor. Arguably even more important is the fact that this monitor is seriously fast in our testing. Rated officially at 1 millisecond response, it's one of, if not the fastest LCD gaming monitors we've ever seen. That speed makes it great for all kinds of PC gaming and a particular joy for online shooters, which were great to test. It's also feature-packed, including G-Sync compatibility, plus USB-C connectivity, albeit limited to 15W of charging power. Number 7. Benki L2870U. The Benki L2870U has been proving to us all that 4K doesn't have to cost a bomb, and it can hold its own as a quality monitor all the while. While the viewing angles of its TN panel continue to prove to us in testing that there are better options for viewing, this monitor boasts a shocking wealth of functionality typically found outside a budget monitor's wheelhouse. If you have an AMD graphics card, the Benki L2870U is enhanced with native FreeSync support. Sadly, however, it is not G-Sync compatible. Trust us, we tested it. That said, it does have a utilitarian selection of ports, namely two HDMI 2.0 connections and a single DisplayPort 1.4. And, should you spend hours on end trying to best your KDR in Apex Legends, opens a new tab, like we did with this monitor in testing, then BenQ's integrated eye care solution automatically adjusts brightness and blue light to safeguard your eyes from the evils of light-emitting diodes. It's not perfect, but the fact that this 28-inch 4K HDR screen regularly goes on sale for a fraction of its price is a compelling case for snatching one up no matter what platform you play on. Number 6. Asus ROG Strix XG27UQ. Until now, 4K 60fps plus gaming has been a concept only attainable by the hardcore enthusiasts who dedicate everything they have to PC gaming and their best gaming monitors. Not anymore. Thanks to the recent launch of the 30 series cards from Nvidia, and AMD's RX series equivalents, it's finally affordable for those who desire it. To reach that level, you need one of the best monitors on the market, but they're usually more expensive than the graphics cards themselves. The Asus XG27UQ changes that entirely, bringing almost the best possible specs on a 4K screen down to a reachable tier for general PC gamers. It's still not cheap, but for the first time ever a 4K monitor with 1 millisecond response time and a 144 Hz refresh rate is below the $1,000 mark. Quite considerably actually, coming in at around $800/$800. It's still a hefty price tag, don't get me wrong, but it's far cheaper than the other top-tier offerings. We think that the Asus XG27UQ is like a gaze into what PC gaming will be like for everyone 5 to 10 years down the line. With ray tracing on, Cyberpunk 2077 had my jaw on the floor, with stunning lighting effects and texture detail throughout Night City. As did Assassin's Creed Valhalla, with the sun rays splitting the treetops. If you have a rig capable of it, seriously, don't upgrade to 4K if your graphics card is a few years old, then you will not be disappointed with this monitor. Number 5. MSI MPG Artemis 343 CQR. Not a fan of curved candidates for best gaming monitor? Then you might want to jog on. Because we think that MSI has definitely doubled down on the notion of bent screens with the MPG Artemis 343 CQR. With a mere 1 meter radius of curvature, this thing is positively twisted. As it happens, we found that it's also unbelievably immersive. Partly this comes down to that extreme 1000R curve, but it's also because MSI has boldly opted for VA rather than IPS panel technology. Combined with a very strong monolithic backlight, the result, confirmed in our testing, is punchy peak brightness of 550 candelas per square meter and 3000:1 static contrast. Granted, there's only entry-level HDR 400 certification. But this monitor delivers the best HDR experience we've yet seen from a monitor with no local dimming. Cyberpunk 2077 running on this 34-inch, 3440 by 1440 pixel beauty is truly something to behold. Of course, the big worry with any VA panel is pixel response. The 343 CQR does need a little time to warm up. But once it's up to temp, we found the response is nearly good enough to justify the 1 millisecond claim. Add in 165Hz refresh and AMD FreeSync support. For the record, NVIDIA G-Sync isn't officially supported but does work, and you have one heck of an overall gaming package. Back on the Windows desktop, that extreme curve makes less sense. Likewise, at this price point, the mere 1440p resolution will be disappointing from a productivity perspective. And don't forget that even the latest consoles don't support the ultrawide 21:9. But for the specific job of high-end PC gaming, with the arguable exception of esports, this monitor proved to us that it is absolute madness. And in a very good way. Number 4. Dell S2721 DGF. Dell offers a lot of monitors, from basic 1080p run-of-the-mill office jobs to uber-impressive 4K beauties. The S2721 DGF slots firmly in the middle, offering gaming performance at 1440p, and while we find that the specs are those you'd expect of a top-notch competitive esports-ready screen, when we took it out of the box it certainly doesn't look like one on the outside. When any PC gamer is looking for a monitor, two specs are vital: refresh rate and response time. The Dell S2721 DGF is almost perfect in this regard, offering 165Hz and 1 millisecond respectively, and this was confirmed to us in testing. Another attraction is the IPS panel, which is excellent and contributes to the bang-to-buck value that the monitor offers. The monitor is covered in a matte, all-black finish, with thin, flat bezels around the edge, making it a brilliant choice for anyone looking for a double or triple monitor setup. The only place we think this monitor trips up is in HDR performance, especially in dark areas. The contrast is low, which means it's often hard to differentiate between subtle blacks and grays, but if you're using this primarily for gaming and not movie watching, it's not too big of a deal. This is one of the best 1440p gaming monitors on the market. Number 3. Asus TUF Gaming VG27AQ. The Asus TUF VG27AQ is not exactly a flashy entry to our best gaming monitor list, but it is bursting at the seams with quality. It's ordinary looking, but that didn't fool us, as it packs a punch and offers an incredibly speedy monitor for gaming. There's a 165Hz, featuring adaptive sync support, a 1 millisecond response rate of 1 millisecond, and it is both G-Sync and FreeSync compatible. Add into this Asus' own extreme low-motion blur sync technology, and the in-game pictures this monitor provides are some of the smoothest and best you can get on a 1440p monitor. When we tested the monitor, the image quality was excellently crisp, too. It's not all about the speed. Stir in a rating of HDR10 high dynamic range for color and brightness levels, too, and they are some of the nicest images we've seen on a 1440p. The VG27AQ does a great job of balancing overall picture quality, speeds, and, importantly, the price point. It's a great do-it-all monitor that we think will serve people well for PC gaming and console gaming. Though remember, that 1440p resolution won't be natively supported by any PlayStation console. Yet. Number 2. AOC 24G2/24G2U. Limited to a budget of around $200/£200? Don't despair. A high refresh monitor with a decent IPS panel is within reach and we think could be a top gaming monitor for a lot of folks. Enter the AOC24G2 and its closely related AOC24G2U sibling. Inevitably, some compromises have to be made. The 24G2/24G2U are mere 24-inch monitors with a modest 1920 by 1080 resolution, otherwise known as 1080p. The difference between the two? The 24G2U adds a USB hub. Good for a seriously zappy 1 millisecond pixel response, and with both variable refresh rate support and a low input lag mode, they run at a fulsome 144 Hz, which was confirmed to us in testing. Of course, that's a far lower resolution than a 4K panel with just 1/4 the number of pixels. But then fewer pixels means more frames and lower latency, which might just give you that critical edge in your battle royale or team-based shooter of choice, be that Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Warzone, Battlefield 5, or Overwatch. One obvious omission for us, spec-wise, is HDR capability of any kind. But then very few monitors deliver a true HDR experience from our experience. So, at least AOC doesn't tease you with the promise of HDR only to ultimately disappoint. What's more, with slim bezels and both height and tilt adjustment, this panel doesn't feel or look like a budget option. Number 1. Alienware 34AW3423DW QD OLED. It's been an awfully long time coming, but with the new Alienware 34AW3423DW, OLED technology has finally come to the best gaming monitor. And, boy, does it deliver. This screen has better contrast and a faster response than any LCD panel we've ever seen, while also looking richer, more convincing, more immersive, and being faster, sharper, and clearer. It really does do everything. We found that it's not absolutely perfect, though. The supposedly brighter HDR 1000 mode actually results in a duller image most of the time than the more usable HDR 400 setting. You will rarely if ever see the full 1000 nits. The low pixel density also means this isn't a great choice for an all-purpose display. It's likewise not a good fit for console gaming. And strictly speaking, higher refresh panels will offer better latency. Concerns involving OLED burn-in do linger, a little. If that proves unfounded, OLED could take off on the PC in a big way, and for most types of gaming, we think this is an absolute revelation.